What is going on, Dino Duelists? It is the Mike Man here with excellent news. We just got Sorcerer of the Swamp with the release of Chaos Origins. This card is, and I shit you not, the strongest dinosaur card we have gotten in years. This one card does so much. I'm going to be talking in specifically a Genesys context because I've been locking into Genesys lately. But I mean, if you're playing Advanced, this obviously bumps Jurrac GMX or dinosaurs in Advanced as well. But yeah, so let's see what this one card can do. This is a one card full combo. One card starter. Full combo does everything. You don't even need to use your normal summon. It's also an extender. It's everything you could possibly need. You activate the effect. You reveal an extra deck monster. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to reveal to your opponent Hornsaurus, right? So you can banish the fusion material from deck. You're going to go ahead and you're going to banish Kaitoterra from deck, okay? That's going to trigger Kaitoterra, and you're going to summon this, and then you're going to summon Kaitoterra. Now you're going to activate Kaitoterra's effect to add polymerization from deck to hand. You're going to go ahead and activate Poly to perform a fusion summon. You're going to fuse these two materials. Remember, King of the Swamps effect makes it so it can be used as the fusion material if you were to perform a fusion summon this turn. So in this context, this is Kaitoterra, and this is the dinosaur or dragon monster used to make Hornsaurus. And you're going to go ahead and summon Hornsaurus, and you're going to activate its on-summon trigger effect to place a field spell in your field zone. So you're going to go ahead and place Jurrac Volcano. And here's great. So this one card got you this setup. Remember, Hornsaurus gives you an additional normal summon of a dinosaur or dragon monster. So, I mean, this is like crazy in like any deck, dude. Any deck that needs a field spell. Because you could place, if you have a field spell starter, playing this package sets you up with any field spell starter you need. It's specifically great in dinosaur and dragon decks because it grants you an additional normal summon of a dinosaur or dragon monster. So maybe Dragoonity, for instance. You could do something cool with Dragoonity because they play a field spell, Dragon Ravine, and they could capitalize off of the additional dragon normal summon. This one card, activating it right off the bat, before we even get into the full combo, gives you a body on field, a field spell, and an extra normal summon. So you could do things with this body on field. If you were to play Lars in advanced format, you already have a 6 here. So this just sets up so much, like, on its own. Remember, this is one card in your hand. You still have 4 to 5 other cards in your hand, depending if you're going first or second. So this one card set does a lot of setup on its own. It's so powerful. But let's assume this is your only starter. Everything else in your hand is dead. It's bricks, whatever, right? This one card does everything for you. We're going to go ahead. We're going to activate Jurrac Volcano, destroy a dinosaur on field. Luckily for us, Hornsaurus is a dinosaur. We're going to pop Hornsaurus and special summon a Jurrac from deck. That Jurrac is going to be the GOAT Jurrac Stego. Now keep in mind, Jurrac Stego is also an incredible card. He also does everything you could possibly want. And we're going to activate Jurrac Stego's effect to destroy a card on field and special summon a bunch of Jurracs. So we're going to go and do that. We're going to pop Volcano, send our boy Miscellaneousaurus, special, 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 special. God, Stego is such a fucking good-ass card, man. I love Jurrac Stego. Literally any way to get to Jurrac Stego is just golden, man. This card is Foolish Burial and Soul Charge from deck, man. This is like insane. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and perform a Synchro Summon. Belfito. Then we're going to go Aeolo, Tribute, Target, Stego. Sync for 6. Hornbrute Carnivorous. And then now we're going to Synchro for 10. Jurrac Estero. In attack or defense. It's going to get an attack boost later on. So attack is pretty good with a 2900 attack stat. But also defense to play around Lightning Storm. Either way. On summon effect to set Jurrac Impact. And then here we're going to go ahead and activate Misk's effect in Graveyard. We're going to banish 4 dinosaurs. Itself, Hornsaurus, Aeolo, and Belfito, I think are some solid options here. So we're going to go ahead, banish 4, and summon our GOAT, Soul Leading Oviraptor, man. Our guy. So Oviraptor on summon effect, we're going to add or send Return Dino Deneen. Now, if you have any Jurrac name, spell, trap, monster, doesn't matter. If you have any Jurrac name in hand, you would add Deneen, right? Because then Megalo would activate the effect, discard the Jurrac card and Deneen, draw 2 cards. So you can plus potentially off of this combo. But let's say you don't have any Jurrac cards, you would just send it. Here we're gonna have Oviraptor effect. target Megalo to destroy it, and special summon a Dinosaur from Grave and Defense. So we're going to go ahead and pop Megalo, special Deneen, and we're going to go chain 1 Megalo, chain 2 Deneen, or vice versa, depending on what you're prioritizing. If you're under Misk, of course, you want to chain block to protect Megalo from things like Skullmeister. So we're going to go ahead and Deneen, search, get Kimridge. Remember, this can only search a GMX monster. And then Megalo's going to go ahead and dump Astero. We're going to go ahead and activate Kimridge to shuffle it back and add the GMX fusion spell. So we're going to go ahead and add Experiment 55. We're going to go ahead and activate Experiment 55 because we need to get Alos, right? Boom, boom. So worst case scenario, Conductor's probably like the worst thing you can mill in this case. So that's why I'm going to go use it. But you have plenty of dinosaurs you can mill. Summon GMX Alos. Now here is where the combo can go into two different directions depending on your matchup and what you are prioritizing. You can either go for the stronger board with less follow-up, or you can go for the weaker board with stronger follow-up. Totally depends on what you grab here. I'm going to demonstrate the stronger board, but there are situations where you want to go for the weaker board. A good example is a deck like Melfi, which has a lot of grind, and a deck like Vanquish Soul. But if we go for the weaker combo, or the weaker end board, what we're going to do is we're going to have Alos bring back Misk. What this does is this puts Misk in our graveyard later on, and we're going to have a much stronger follow-up. However, this does get us the weaker board. But this is absolutely what you do if you're playing against Melfi. If you know you're playing against Melfi, or if you know you're playing against Vanquish Soul, this is the play, 100%. Because with Melfi specifically, what they can do is they can just... Like, you're going to stop all their advances. They're not going to be able to Xyz summon and make any meaningful pushes through your interruption. What they're going to do is if they have the Melfi spell that adds 4, or even if they don't, they're just going to go to end phase and they're going to summon all their Melfis, and they're going to force you to try to burn all your nukes in the end phase. And then you have to... Melfi's grind game is crazy. Dinos have some grind, especially with the GMX. The GMX helps with grind a lot. But Melfis can outgrind us, so we have to kill them on turn 2. Misk helps us do that because Misk Engrave plus the Kaitotera Engrave helps us get a Dolka very easily early on. And then the sooner we get that Dolka, sooner we can stop things like Melfi Penny, Melfi Rabbies, effects in the hand from protecting them, from stopping them from killing us. However, this is not necessary a lot of the times. A lot of the times, most decks, the 4 nukes is more than enough to stop them from playing, and they don't have the ability to play on our turn if they're not able to even generate an end board. So we're going to go ahead and Alos. For the stronger board, we're going to Alos for Hornbrute Carnivorous. Sync for 10. Sync for Jurrac Astero. We're going to activate Jurrac Astero on summon effects to set a Jurrac spell or trap from deck or grave. In this build, I'm only on 1 Jurrac Volcano because I'm playing 3 Sorcerer. I feel like it's a little bit redundant to play 3 Sorcerer and more than 1 Volcano because I'm essentially already on 4 Volcano. But Volcano is a good card, don't get me wrong. I mean, you could pitch it off Megalo, it's a good extender, but this card is just Jurrac Volcano on crack, you know. The stronger board is usually better because if you can't get this 3rd Astero, the weaker board ends on 2 Asteros. You still have 4 nukes, and I'll get into how that happens, but there are ways they can interrupt your game plan in getting 4 nukes set up. But the stronger end board makes it so things like Skullmeister and Chalice don't get in your way, and you are almost guaranteed to resolve all your nukes. So this makes your end board much stronger and much more resilient. So we're going to go Deneen effect to perform a fusion summon. We're going to fuse itself and Alos. We're going to go ahead and summon Evolve Deneen. Evolve Deneen on summon and Deneen effect on summon. We're going to go chain 1, Evolve Deneen, chain 2, return down Deneen to give everyone a boost. This boost actually matters because Deneen is 2400 attack, but this will boost it to 28, meaning if for whatever reason they Lava Golem these guys, this is 28, this makes Jurrac Impact live. For Jurrac Impact to be live, you need a Dinosaur 2500 or more attack, so that's where this comes in. Also, the attack boost on these guys is nice. I personally like to have Astero and 1 Astero in attack, 1 Astero in defense. That way, one can take advantage of the stronger stat because sometimes they might just try to beat over Astero in battle if you put in defense. But then also, if you put in attack, it's vulnerable to stuff like Lightning Storm. So I like to have 1 in attack, 1 in defense. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and search for Deneen. And we're going to go ahead and add GMX 55th Experiment Report. And then we're going to go ahead and set it. You have to remember to set this card. In Dueling Book testing in one of my games, I forgot to set it, and it was like actually a game changer. So you need to set this. Remember to set the experiment. Okay. And then you're going to go ahead and pass. What the opponent has to play through in this end board, the strong end board, 2 summon negates, a Velox pop, right? Because as soon as they summon a monster, we're going to go ahead and fuse. If they don't summon a monster and you have a GMX in hand, you could fuse using a GMX in hand. We're going to go ahead and perform a fusion summon using this and a GMX in deck. So you're going to go ahead and Foolish a GMX and use this as material. Summon Velox. So now that you have Velox on field, you're going to go ahead and activate the effect to pop something and excavate. So you're going to go ahead and excavate. Best case scenario, you excavate something like Pinkertops and it gets you even more. But you're probably not. I mean, you could excavate a Kaiju, you can excavate Oviraptor for even stronger follow-up. There's a lot of strong excavates off of Velox. Even excavating just a Jurrac name, that's also really good because once you're nuking, your meteors revive a tuner. So, and then you could revive Megalo, and then if you have that Jurrac name in hand, you could pitch the Jurrac and draw 2 cards, right? So, and the cool thing is, you can summon this whenever, so you can kind of wait for your opponent to drop their breakers first, and then do this. Boom, boom. And then they're going to play playing through our board. Summon a Gate might come up, it might not, against a fusion deck or a ritual deck. Summon a Gate probably will not come up. We're going to go ahead and flip Impact, nuke everything. And then we have 3 Asteros in grave the opponent has to play through. So we're going to go to Astero effect, banish itself, and banish another Jurrac name. Summon Meteor effect to nuke all cards in the field. Bring back a tuner. You can bring back Aeolo, you can bring back Horn Brute, you can bring back Megalo, and then also, if you're playing Ghost Ogre, you can bring back Ghost Ogre off of this. This can summon any tuner from your graveyard. And remember, Ghost Ogre can activate from field. So that's a pretty cool synergy Ghost Ogre has with this deck. Usually I'll go for one of these 2. I personally like Aeolo a little bit more, it depends. But I like Aeolo as like your final one because if, for whatever reason, they stop your follow-up, Aeolo contribute and bring back Stego, and then you have a level 4 on field and you're halfway to a Dolka, right? Whereas Megalo, in this situation, Megalo already has used up a lot of its value in terms of the main purpose of Megalo is sending all your Asteros to the graveyard, right? Which you have already successfully done. And then also, if you have, maybe you excavated a Jurrac off of Velox, right? Then this could be better because then you could just pitch it and draw 2 cards. But the thing is with Aeolo, if you decide to go into Megalo later, you have the option to. So Aeolo is just a bit more of a versatile spot where you can either go into Megalo or into Stego depending on the follow-up turn, right? So usually in your last Meteor, I like to summon Aeolo, specifically the last one. But your first 2, Megalo's fine. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and the opponent can't play through our Meteors. They're going to end turn. Now we have to kill them. And we don't even, the GMX follow-up is so good, we do not even need Misk in the graveyard for that follow-up. It would help if we went for the weaker end board but stronger follow-up play. But we don't need to. Unless we're playing against something like Melfi, right? In which case you would build your end board accordingly. But again, that end board that's weaker does have its weaknesses, which I'll get into why that end board has its weaknesses. So anyway, in this game state, we need to kill the opponent, right? So what we're going to do, Experiment 55th Report, we're going to banish and excavate until we excavate a GMX. We're going to excavate Kimmeridge. That's going to trigger Evolve Deneen effect in the graveyard. This is going to go ahead and summon, and on summon can search us a GMX. We're going to go ahead and search Salandea. And then we're going to go ahead and activate the effect of Salandea, summon from hand, and then on summon it can summon a level 4 or lower GMX or Dinosaur from grave or banishment. Now, remember, if you're using this effect, the effect of summon from hand, you're only able to attack directly this turn with GMX monsters, which is important because if you have Conductor or any other big bodies, if you make a Dolka or whatever, that Dolka, that Conductor, they will not be able to attack directly if you're using Salandea as your means for follow-up. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and special summon Oviraptor. Ovi's going to go ahead and activate the effect to add or send. Doesn't matter at this game state. Conductor would be like the best thing to add here, usually, or maybe another Oviraptor for the grind. But we sent a Conductor. But for this instance, this is just fusion material. It doesn't really matter, right, in this instance. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to activate Oviraptor effect, target Aeolo to destroy it, and special summon a Dinosaur from grave and defense. We're going to destroy Aeolo, and we're going to go ahead and summon Alos in defense. And then we're going to activate Alos to special summon a Dinosaur from grave or banishment. And we're going to go ahead and summon Evolve Deneen. Evolve Deneen can activate the effect to search a GMX, but there are no GMX Dinosaur main deck monsters. We're trying to gather as many Dinosaur monsters in field and hand as possible in order to go for Comprex and go for the kill. Now, we're going to go ahead and activate Return Down a Deneen effect to perform a Fusion Summon. How many dinosaurs is this? You need to remember this. In order to get the effect of Comprex to attack 3 times, you need 4 dinosaurs. So we have 4 dinosaurs here. Ov, Deneen, Titano, Alos. 1, 2, 3, 4, plus a GMX. You can use Celandea, you don't have to, because this is not a dinosaur. But remember, Alos is the GMX. So in this instance, you could summon Comprex, and this guy can attack 3 times. Deneen effect to give all your dinosaurs a boost, and go battle phase, boom, 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 game. It is very hard for a lot of decks to play through this end board. It's incredibly resilient to breakers, and a lot of decks are just not able to play through this. However, there are some decks that don't need to, like Melfi. They can just go to the end phase and try to play on your turn. Or like Vanquisol. Vanquisol can just hold their resources and just play on your turn instead. So there are situations where this is not the game plan you want to go for. So I'm going to go a little bit more in depth on the weaker end board and why that's, when to use it, and then also the risks associated with the weaker end board. Sorcerer of the Swamp effect, special, banish, summon, poly, fuse, more source effect, place, volcano effect, pop, Sego effect, pop, send mist, special for level 1s, Megalo, go, sink for 5, Volfito, then we're going to go sink for 6, more brute, AOL effect, tribute, bring back Sego, sink for 10, Acero on summon effect, set, impact, then we're going to go mist effect, engrave, banish 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, banish 4 dinos, we're going to go ahead and summon OV effect, add or send Deneen, or if you have any Jurrac cards in hand, add it so you can get that draw too, if not, send. Then we're going to go ahead, OV, target Megalo, destroy, special Deneen from grave, boom, boom. Then we're going to go chain 1 Megalo, chain 2 Deneen, or vice versa, depending on your priorities and the game state. Deneen effect, add Kimmeridge, Megalo effect, dump Acero. Kimmeridge effect, shuffle back, add Fusion Spell. We're going to go ahead and activate, we're going to go ahead and mill 2. Kimmeridge and Titano. Let's say we're lucky this time, and we don't hit Conductor, which is very likely. It's very unlikely you're going to hit Conductor, to be honest with you. That's just the worst case scenario, because it's nice to have that Conductor as another guy. Because to be honest, there are better ways to go for the kill. So we're going to go ahead and experiment. Let's say we mill these 2, summon Alos. Now here is the game state. The point in the combo where you have 2 lines. You could do Alos and revive your Hornbrute Carnivorous, and then go into that stronger end board, which is most of the time the proper play, to be honest with you, because the weaker end board has risks, right? Even though the follow-up is much nicer and going for the kill is a lot smoother. If you go for the stronger end board, when you go for the kill, you're not able to make Doka. When you go for the kill, you have to go for the Comprex line, and that line is a lot weaker to if the opponent has anything to stop you from killing them. So those are some of the weaknesses of the stronger end board, is that it just doesn't have a strong follow-up, and the kill can be interrupted. If you want to go for this board against something like Melfi, or if you just value follow-up more, you're going to go ahead and you're going to activate Alos, target Misk. And then here you're going to activate Deneen, perform a Fusion Summon. You want this Misk in the graveyard. So you're going to go ahead and fuse Deneen and Misk. Evolve Deneen. And you're going to go chain 1, evolve Deneen to search, chain 2, return down on Deneen to boost all your dinosaurs by 400 attack, right? Cool, these guys are all big. Ovi's 22, Evolve Deneen is 28, 29, and Alos is 34. And then you're going to go ahead and Evolve Deneen, and you're going to go ahead and search GMX 55th Experiment Report. And you're going to go ahead and set it. You're going to go ahead and pass to your opponent. This board is still, in terms of the amount of real interruptions, it's extremely similar. The only difference is you don't have Volcano for the protection. And Jurrac Volcano has uses, right? If they were to DD Crow for maybe Skullmeister or Stero, at least Jurrac Volcano is a backup plan to get your other Meteor into play. And especially in a situation where you only have 2 Asteros in rotation. The thing is, when you have 2 Asteros in rotation, you technically really have 3. Because what's going to happen is your first Astero is going to summon Meteor. That Meteor is going to summon a Tuner, right? That Tuner is going to be Jurrac Megalo. And then your second Astero, at this point will be in the graveyard, right, because you nuked the field. That second Astero will banish itself in another Jurrac, summon your second Meteor. Meteor is going to blow up the field, including your Megalo you previously summoned off of the first Meteor, which is going to trigger your Megalo, sending the third Astero, right? So, essentially, we still have 4 nukes, because we can get the third Astero into rotation on the opponent's turn very easily. So we have Impact plus 3 Asteros. Even though we only have 2, we're going to get that third Astero on the opponent's turn. And you might be thinking, oh, but you're just going to get 2 of the Astero anyway, so might as well go for this end board anyway, because it's functionally the same. Well, there are problems. People play Skullmeister, people play Forbidden Chalice, people play DD Crow. They might have top decked the DD Crow. If they DD Crow this, now all of a sudden my end board is only going to be 2 nukes, right? So this is a lot more fragile. This end board is very fragile to a lot of things. Skullmeister, Chalice, DD Crow are all very common cards. That's why this end board is a lot riskier. If I really want to get all 3 Asteros in a rotation safely, let's say they have Chalice, Skullmeister, or DD Crow, those things are stopping one of your 4 nukes if you go for the stronger board. But if you go for the weaker board, because you are dependent on that second, on like those first 2 meteors resolving, in order to get your 3rd nuke, that means if they interrupt to just one of them, there goes 2 nukes, essentially. You will be reduced to just 2 nukes if they're able to interrupt you. So that's why this end board is very fragile, and I don't recommend it unless you know you're going up against Melfi or something, because you don't have any choice. You have to go for this end board against Melfi. But again, this end board has some strengths over the other end board that are really nice. So let's say the opponent's trying to play into our board. Everything goes smoothly. This is how the game plan should go. We're going to go ahead and experiment 55 and fuse using a GMX in deck. So I'm going to go ahead and Foolish Kimmeridge. Let's say they summoned a monster, right? We're going to fuse a GMX in deck. Again, we don't even have to, the cool thing is they don't even have to summon a monster because Alos is a GMX. So you could fuse these 2. OV could be the dinosaur you use to make Velox. And it depends. You could also intentionally use Deneen, right? If you want to trigger Deneen's graveyard effect on the opponent's turn to get another search, something you could totally do. Or maybe you're a little bit low on life and you just want that extra life points. You can keep Deneen on field because Deneen's going to trigger either way. Well, it has the ability to trigger either way when you resolve this Velox on the opponent's turn. So it depends on if you want that search, if you want the search or if you want the extra life points. Most Yu-Gi-Oh players will tell you the search is more valuable, but in GMX, we already have so many searches anyway. You might not even, like, you don't necessarily need to resolve the one on the opponent's turn, but you could. You absolutely could, but I'd rather, the important thing is resolving it on your turn when you go for the kill. So anyway, we're going to fuse. Let's gain some 15 off of Deneen, and then we're going to pop something. We're going to excavate off the top of our deck. And we'll get lucky, boom, excavate a Pankratops, sweet. We could excavate a Doggeran, doesn't really matter, right? Whatever we excavate, Doggeran will go to hand. This is a hand. So yeah, the opponent's playing through our board, we pop something with Velox. They commit more to the field, impact, nuke everything, right? Now how this is supposed to go, they're gonna play into our board. We're gonna go Astero, banish itself, and a Jurrac name, itself and Megalo. We're gonna go ahead and summon Meteor effect on summon. We're going to destroy all cards and summon a tuner from the graveyard. Megalo. Remember, we have another Astero in grave. So now the opponent's going to continue to play. We're going to activate Astero, banish itself, and Meteor. We're going to go ahead and summon another Meteor. We're going to nuke the field, destroy Megalo. Now keep in mind, do not summon the same Megalo you popped off of Meteor because it won't trigger. It won't be in the proper trigger location. So you have to summon a different tuner. So I recommend summoning Aolo in this instance. And then we're going to go ahead and trigger that Jurrac Megalo that was just destroyed and send Astero number 3. And then, if need be, if the opponent has that gas where they're forcing us to use all 3 of our meteors, we're going to go ahead, banish Astero and Meteor. We're going to go ahead and summon our 3rd and final Meteor and our 4th nuke, because remember we used Impact, to wipe the field, summon Aolo back, right? They're going to pass turn, and our follow-up is crazy. Absolutely crazy. So we have a body on field. We have Misk in the grave. We also have in the graveyard GMX 55th Experiment Report and Evolved Deneen. Our Misk in the graveyard is even stronger now that we have Kaitotera, right? That's insane. So we're going to go Misk, banish itself, Kaitotera. And Kaitotera has a secret effect that is pretty cool. We can recycle the polymerization. So we're going to go ahead and banish itself and 4 dinosaurs. So we're going to go ahead and banish 4 dinosaurs. Misk, Kaitotera. We're going to go ahead and summon OV from deck. Chain 1 OV, chain 2 Kaitotera. Special. And then remember, Kaitotera, all 1 effect, when it comes back from banish, you can also add a poly from grave to hand. So you have to remember to do this. Remember to do this, because if you forget, you know, you're not going to be able to get this poly. And this poly comes up because you can make Comprex with it. And you won't have to go for an awkward line where you have to go for, you don't have to always go for return down to Deneen to get the to get the ability to fuse. You have Poly in hand now, so it's pretty nice. Or it's just a card you could discard off of Megalo if you have a Jurrac, you know, so you're going to go ahead and add Poly from Carotera, and then Ovi's going to resolve, and you're going to add Conductor. If you don't have Conductor, no big deal. You just add any Dinosaur so you can fuse. But the cool thing here is you can make Dolka. You can make Dolka in very few summons. What this does is against decks like Vanquishal, especially against Melfi, this stops Melfi Penny from doing all those pesky Melfi Penny things. Or like some decks just have graveyard effects where the bodies come back. So this is like the line to go for. This is just the better way to kill. If you have the means to do this, this is like very, very strong. Remember, you still have more follow-up. You can go for Report, you're going to banish and excavate. So you're going to banish Report, and you're going to excavate a GMX, add this GMX to hand, and then you're going to go ahead and trigger Evolve Deneen in the graveyard. And then Evolve Deneen on summon will search you. You're always going to search Salandea in this instance. The cool thing here, and this is why Aeolo is such a nice thing to grab. You already have one Dolka. If you play two Dolka or you play Logia, you can even make a second Volzar. And the cool thing is, making a Volzar in the grind game is very strong because the opponents burned all their breakers trying to break your board. So having a Volzars now in this late game state is securing the victory for you. But be careful against grindy decks like Melfi, because Dolka once you use the negates, it's dead. You know, so they can outgrind you. What you really want to do is you really want to kill them this turn. And remember, if you summon Salandea, you will be locked out of attacking directly unless you go for Comprex. But because you have Dolka, Comprex is safer. So you have multiple means for. I mean, this right here is more than enough for game. Full stop. But you could totally. Salandea, revive any Dinosaur. You could revive Misk, so you have a little bit better follow-up in the grind. Poly for the 4 Dinosaurs. I don't know why you would use Conductor in your hand, but this is 4 Dinosaurs for Comprex to attack 3 times. Remember, you didn't even use your normal summon. If you do play any other generic rank 4s, like Grenosaurus Giga Cannon, you could totally just normal summon Kimrich, because Grenosaurus Giga Cannon does not need Dinosaurs to make it. But remember, this line, going for the kill is much safer, and you just have a lot more gas in the follow-up. However, there are a lot of risks to your end board, to where if you get reduced to 2 nukes, it is very hard to stop the opponent. Having 4 nukes is why this end board is so good. That's why the stronger board is usually better. And then also, if you're playing in a tournament, the timer is going, right? And when you're playing against someone and time is a factor, the opponent is going to be thinking, can I win? Can I kill them? Can I do this? And then once they realize you have 4 nukes and they can't play through 4 nukes, they're just going to scoop it up. You might not even have to kill them. In tournament, going for the stronger board is usually the better play, but not always. Against a deck like Melfi, you need to recycle your Misk. So totally depends, but I want to know what you guys think. Which line do you guys think is better? Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, I mean, dude, I am so stoked. Literally, I fully believe that Sorcerer of the Swamp is the strongest Dinosaur card we've gotten in ages. The fact that it can do all of this alone, 1 card, is crazy. And you know what's also great is the fact that Dinosaurs, we have more 1-card starters now, 1-card combos. We have Sorcerer of the Swamp, Jurrac Stego, and Oviraptor. These guys are all 1-card. This is like 9 cards in your deck that are all 1-card combos. Albeit Oviraptor's 1-card combo is a bit weaker. But and if you guys are curious about the Ovi and Stego 1-card combo, I go over that in my previous video. Or I don't know if it's like my last one, but it's a very recent video I did. I go over those 1-card combos in my YCS Columbus top 16 deck profile. And then also, let's not forget, like, these guys are 1-card combos, but they're like riskier because you have to hit something good off of Experiment 55 to get like the crazy end board you desire. But these guys are also 1-card combos. This is like 4 copies of Kimrich plus Misk plus Small World into all the ways to get into Misk and your other 1-card combos. So like Dinos have so many 1-card combos, but you have to be playing the Jurrac GMX version. And then also you might be wondering, oh, but this requires a lot of bricks. Yes, Poly is a brick, but Carotera is not a brick at all. It is truly a 1.5 card starter, 1.5 card combo. You need this in any Dinosaur in your hand, which is like this plus this is full combo. Normal summon, add Poly, bam. You get full combo, right? Carotera plus any Dinosaur is full combo. That's excellent. It's a little bit of a garnet though, because you don't want to draw it with your Sorcerer, because Sorcerer needs to banish Karatera from deck. So that's one caveat you guys should be aware of. But still, I mean, the consistency this card adds, it's such a powerhouse. I think playing Kaido plus Poly is absolutely worth it. And also, if you're playing Advanced and you have the space to play a Volzar Lars, or even if you're playing in Genesys and you think the Volzar Lars is worth it, which to be honest, 20 points is kind of crazy. You lose the ability to play Fualos if you decide to play a Volzar Lars. Well, you can still play one Fualos, but look at all these level 6s you can make. I know you have, when you go into JURRACS Dego, you get locked, so you're not able to make Lars during your regular JURRACS Dego combo. However, in the follow-up, after your opponent has expended all of their board-breaking resources, you could absolutely make a Lars. Remember, Deneen and this in the grave, you just summon this, and then if this is a tuner. So if instead of summoning Aolo, if you want to go for Lars in the grind game, have this be the tuner you summon off a Meteor, and then summon Deneen, search something, make Lars, and then especially if you have Misk and Kaido in the graveyard, you could go for like a Lars Dolka lock instead of going for a kill. That's another thing you could totally do if you're playing Advanced. But extra deck space is really tight. That's something to consider. We used so much of our extra deck space. I'm on Alakia, and Comprex, of course. And there's also total merit to just being on double Dolka. That's totally valuable. You could be on Gardesaurus. This last spot is a flex. Is a flex spot. It doesn't have to be Logia. I like Logia. I like having the Spawn Trap negate, but it's only single negate. So, and also Logia is like one of my favorite cards. So maybe I'm a bit biased. Anyway, man, I really think this is the strongest Dinosaur card we have gotten in a very long time. And it's not even a Dinosaur, but this card is so good for us, man. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Which combo line do you think is better? Thanks for checking the video, man, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.